Alright, in part 4 of this series, I'm going to show how you take what we've learned in parts 1, 2, and 3, where we create a bevel and we create platforms on the edge of the bevel and strike on the edge to take flakes instead of strike on the plane to take flakes. And this is all using a sandstone hammerstone. So we're going to take all that in part 4 and combine it a little bit. We're going, as those bevels come up, we're going to flip to the other side and take flakes from the other side. So like this is the rock that I put down in part 2. Okay. Number 33. I put it down just like this. The very last flake I took was this one right here. I struck that platform and it cleaned off a bunch of crap over here with that, you know, that contour right there, and that convexity, and where the line now, or the edge is in the middle of the plane. I mean, that all looks really good, right, for continuation. So, but we started by creating this bevel, and it was quite thick, and we worked the ends, and then we worked the middle, and as we worked the ends, because we worked them more, that bevel turned. It came. We were able to work up the bevel faster, and so we were able to flip then. This is kind of what that side looked like, right? So there was plenty of thickness there, and the edge was, maybe it was borderline high for maybe, especially if you're a beginner napper. But if you put a lot of force on that and then kind of pull this way too, when you strike near the center line, it really helps those flakes come off nicely. And so the idea behind this whole thing that I started with so far is you don't really want to bevel the whole point or a whole edge unless you see that it's necessary. You want to remove large areas of mass first by isolating that mass, basically, and you isolate that mass by creating a bevel on that mass. So I use the term isolated bevels. So for example, this, let me grind it so you can really see it. It's where I took the flake and where I flipped the bevel to take flakes from the other side. That whole area would be an isolated bevel from there to there. All right, and right here is another one, and they're just going to show up as you take flakes, and I'm just going to demonstrate on that piece. But for part 5, what I would like to do is really combine everything we've learned, talk about it a little bit, explain what I've shown to you without you even really knowing it, possibly, and understanding it, possibly, is to finish a point or finish a biface. I'm not going to do any pressure flaking, and I want to show that there's really no difference from the platform you take off that thick first bevel we made in part 1, right? The first flakes off of that. Those flakes are no different than the flakes you take from a thin biface. The platform is the exact same. It's got a little bit of a bevel to it. It's just smaller, on a lot smaller scale. So I have these 3 rocks. I guess I'll go through them, show them all 3 at once. Right here. Alright, kind of see the size. That's number 63. Which one of these rocks do you want me to use in part 5? Just that one's number 63, that one's number 72. I'll use any of them, I don't care. That one's number 32. I'm gonna make like a transitional paleo Clovis type biface, transitional to archaic type biface. Alright, let's start chipping. Now, I'm going to use this hammerstone for as much of the work as I can. It's really broad, so it's going to be really difficult to get into some of the tight areas and isolate stuff. Alright, let's see. So this is a really thick area, blocky area here. I probably should take care of. Maybe I'll start right here and see if I can. Scrunch off and then take a platform that way. You can see those flakes flying. This is not my position that I would normally do this in. I'd be up here like this maybe to have good control and stuff, but I'm trying to show y'all, and I want to try to keep my fingers out of the way just so you can see. I'm gonna do it. Really got rid of a lot of that blockiness already. I blow because I blow that dust out of my face. I don't want to breathe it in. I also blow to clean off the point. So that I can see and so that you can see. I'll go ahead and clean this up way down here in this divot too, because it looks like my first flake could be from there going like that, but if I take that one first, it'll let this one come off easier because it'll isolate it a little better. That's why you isolate. Well, that's one reason why you isolate. Is so that it can, the flake can come off easier. You don't have to hit it as hard. When you hit off a continuous platform, you have to hit harder than you do when you're hitting an isolated platform like a Clovis type. Grinding that way down there in the divot. Heck, you won't even be able. Yeah, maybe you can see it's all that cortex that's ground. So that actually makes good contact. It'll lip flake up into the good rock, I believe, so I won't have to overstrike. Should move that closer. did crush right through that cortex. I should have overstruck it. I'm cleaning out the thin part now. I'm going up. So I can try to keep that bevel, you know, that platform angle I need for striking. And you still have to go down to clean out the thin stuff from underneath. Oh, this looks terrible. Alright. This is one of those make do with what you got kind of several platforms. I'll go over here on this end first. Exactly what I needed, but it's still crushed on the side of the flake, right next to where it had crushed before. This funny thing right here. Let's try this up here. Wow, that cortex is really affecting that. There's a crack right there. It's trying to get through too, but it doesn't look so bad now. I'm gonna see if I can grind this one right here and hit it, but actually no, I'm not. I wear glasses, so I don't really have to worry about it, but when you're doing that up scrunch, those flakes will fly up. So I usually tilt it so they fly away if I'm, you know, when I wasn't wearing glasses, I should say. And I still do sometimes. I don't want them to come off and hit me at 90 miles an hour. Just kidding. Boy. We're going to wrap that around now, but that is going through some crappy crap right there. Cross your fingers. I'm pulling on the flake. I'm going to overstrike it well. Yeah, boy, look how crappy that was. That one just fell apart. But we got what we needed. Boy, I sure would like to see if I could create a platform on one of those right here, right now at this stage. Let's see what we can come up with. It's not going to be, let's see. Got a different hammerstone. My old, this is one I used to finish stuff with, but I've used it so much it's got too small. For most things. Yeah, I can't get that. There, maybe. I don't know. I imagine that's just going to crush or something. I watched a little bit of that Hammerstone Basics video this morning. I was looking at those old artifact hammerstones. Those aren't mine. That was from a friend who's gone now, and he just loaned them to me so I could study them for a bit. I wish I had them. Anyway, it's really neat to go back and look at those again. I haven't looked at that in a long time. And those are some really cool hammerstones. I've got a crack in this one, but it was there when I picked up the rock, and I was just hitting on it to try to see if it'd break off, and it just stayed solid, so I kept it. It was this fat end right on that point. Man, look at that. Oh, we got it. It was, I didn't really show it, but here's the piece. I could show it now. It broke right where it broke. It's thinner there than where you hit it and back here. So it means it's going to break real easy if it's thin right there, even if you support it. I'm glad I got that flake though. This one's more iffy. Oh, that was nice. Broke it. Still came off nice. Now, let's see. Trying to work on bevels. Let's create a bevel here. Now this has already got a bevel, right? But I don't want to strike it that way. I need to get into this so I can get rid of all this humpiness and clean everything up. So thinking like a chess game, it's like, okay, this has still got to go, but I need to get into this. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to, instead of beveling it what seems to be natural and then take flakes off that way, we're going to go this way. Much overstriking. That brushing overstrike flake is just the best thing to do to clean up and leave a nice crisp edge or plane on the other side. Let's see, is that beveled enough? I should see if I can do something about that. That one there, I'm gonna leave that there because there will be something that's gonna have to come off there later. But this, flip that quite a bit and you can see it should be good and well for taking off some stuff underneath. And then what you do is you, I don't know, when you create these isolated bevels, you have a primary flake that you want to take first, and then you basically just work your way up the bevel, and you create a biface and thin as you go. And you do this way, you actually create a point shape without even trying, which is what you want. The shape of a biface just appears naturally. And I really want to smack the crap out of this in the right spot. It's going to make it too steep for taking flakes off there, but I need to get in there to get at this angle a little bit more. I didn't have that. I'm making contact. I'm trying to remove. It's like pressure flaking with sandstone. I'm literally looking at the spot I need to take off, and sometimes it's just a tiny little flake. So it acts like a pressure flaker at that time, and other times it acts like a scruncher where you're doing more of a whole edge. Isolated, or protruding, I should say, more of, and you can see if I hit that square, it's going to come in this direction. That's the plan. I'm going to smack it good. Use a nice, a good punch flake that doesn't, a good, hang on, get rid of these sharp spots. A good punch flake in my hand here that is loose, and I want like a good flake, a big flake on something small, especially like you gotta hold it in your hand loosely. You'll get better results. For the video, I hold a lot of stuff in my hand to try to keep it in the frame just right and stuff. And I work around a comfortable position, and that's alright. Alright. So I could, yeah, I like it holding freehand. Boy, it sure, oh, it did release, but I sure didn't get nothing I wanted. It's just a really thin flake. It just didn't initiate where I wanted. We'll fix it. So you recreate your bevel. Brushing stroke is amazing. I need to show a close-up of that. I was really just setting up this tiny little, I know it's really hard for me to show it, and I apologize for that. I could turn it up a little more. We'll see. It's pretty pointy, which means I could end up with another thin flake, and I don't want that. So I'm trying to round off just the back side of it a little bit, and it kind of raises the platform up. I think I like that better. got something, but it really wasn't what I wanted. It overstrikes, so there's the primary flake, and there's the overstrike flake. So here's an isolated bevel right here, and I'm just gonna grind it and take advantage of that ridge right there. It's random, it's way over here out of the way, or different, but it needs to be taken. And then when I did that, it's going to help me remove more right here on this side. Do a little brushing stroke. So it's an isolated bevel right here. This is one that we created a long time ago when we in part 2, and so I'm going to take advantage of that now to take flakes on the other side. And that little isolated bevel on the tip where I took a flake just earlier, that just ended up there. So that's one of those isolated bevels that they appear. Nothing special, just a little bit of a continuous platform from there to there, and I just look for a place to hit it. Nice. And see this isolated bevel right here, you could come back and take flakes and clean up the opposite side of where I just took those from. And I think that's where I just took flakes from and was kind of messing up by overstriking. So there's there. Got a couple ways I can come in here. I don't know. Continuous. Missed. There. This one is going to improve the bevel on the other side dramatically. Clean those up. The thin pointy parts. Don't remove your thick areas of mass, because you might need that for taking a flake later. That's why whenever I chip, all my points end up with all these wavy edges, and all of those wavy edges turn into little isolated bevels. Those wavy edges are leaving areas of mass. There's one there, there's all of that right there, and right here on this edge that's flipped up and this edge is flipped up. That's where I'm going to take flakes later, here and here. But right now, I think we can work on this middle some more. Now that it's protruding, I'm taking these little up flakes, making that platform. Those real pointy ones with the ridge underneath like that one, they're really difficult to set up. That ridge is the problem. It's like trying to hit a ridge with a hammerstone. You know, you can't do that because it just deadens the blow. Well, it's no different than when you're trying to hammerstone pressure flake. Scrunch. There we go. Finally got a little progress there. Oh, I can't see it very well. Dang it, I guess I gotta take that one first. Really want I wanted to take this one first, but I'm gonna have to take that one. I wanted to take this one first because I wanted to have a thick flake here, a longer thick flake, and it looks like I'm not going to get that with this. I got a little bit of it. Yeah, the difference in this rock versus most of the stuff, well, that's nice. I isolated that real well. The difference than most of the rocks that I work is I would have this cleaned up a lot better and not have this real narrow piece to work with. I would have, instead of just beveling one whole edge. That's why you don't do that. You lose so much when you do that. You only do it when you have to or when you're trying to learn, right? That's what we're doing here, trying to learn. But in reality, when you're trying to finish a point, you want to try to avoid beveling entire edges because it's so, when you bevel it, it's really thick and you have to get rid of that. And the only way to do it is overshots or keep coming this way. And when you do that, you're going to narrow. You're going to flip it and narrow it again. We're not trying for overshots though. Full length flakes is fine. There's a lot of full length flakes like what I'm producing with this method in the record. Pretty similar to Clovis flakes. The platform is similar. When you go read, I don't remember whose definition it is of Clovis platform, it's the same. I mean, that description applies to every Clovis flake, flute, or any other flake that's a major flake at least. Alright, ground on that enough. Got it set up right. I'm going to kind of put that in the back of my hand on this one because I can see where it could really, if I don't hit it too hard, it could spread out and, you know, just get a nice full length flake across there. Get rid of some mass, but sure don't want it to overshoot either because it'll ruin it. And this is a really low platform, so it's really low means it's easier to overshoot. Could isolate it more over here, huh? Just to make sure it doesn't happen. It's a smart thing to do. All right, let's do that. This is, you know, this is this bevel that we created in the beginning, and we're just flipping it now, basically. A little bit of it anyhow. Nice. I'll go for one more. Really helped that side a lot. You can see there's my platform there. Gosh, it looks like I'm really setting this up for a Clovis shot. Clovis overshot. When we took those flakes off this bevel before, and I did those brushing strokes to clean it up and crisp it up, I mean, it's literally just 90% ready to ground in most cases. In this one, it's 100% ready. So I'm not removing the whole bevel. Ooh, oh, it's a hump there. I see it now. There. Let's see. Something like that. And this edge is low enough that you won't get an overshot. Now, if this edge was higher, if it was really close, let's say it was at the mid plane or above, then your risk of overshot, it goes up, especially when your platform is low like that. So it won't be an overshot. Yeah, I don't like how it's thick and then gets narrow and then gets thick, but if I'm deep enough, none of that will matter. Alright, I see it now. Still going to bury it in my hand in the direction of my blow. I'm not going to go right down the ridge. I think I'm aiming a little off that way a little bit to about right there. Where that protruding spot is, I can bury that right there in my palm. Put my ring finger underneath the flake to support it. I'm kind of supporting the back and the front of this flake. All right. Keep it together. Yeah, that was incredible. I can't believe it actually did overshoot and wrap down that edge like that. Must have had quite a bit of pressure right there. If I had kept my pressure there and not had pressure there, I don't think it would have taken that. That is for sure the flake I needed to get rid of that mass right there. All right. It's not a whole lot left. Here's an area right here. This will be fun, quick. You gotta set up a bevel, chipping through this crappy crap cortex to do it. Take that end right there, blend that in so it has a better contour. I'm just brushing to grind and then striking, kind of over strike. It's easy to take flakes that way, as long as you're not trying to take big flakes or thick flakes, be all right. Yeah. That's some crap right there now. Let's get rid of it. Cortexes, difficult to get through. You don't want to hit too hard just because it won't release the flake. Like I said before, you look at the flake you want to take, and then you strike it with that intention. So if you do it too hard, you can mess it up. Let's just do this one. Alright, little isolated bevel set up here. I'm doing some grinding on it. Right there. It's pretty flat. So we know we don't have to take anything big, just something that blends into contours. There, that's there's something. I'm gonna stop right there. There's just some more work. We weren't trying to make a point. Remember what we started with, and didn't have a whole lot to work with in the end. Oh, there's still a point here, there's no doubt. I just don't, I know it'd take me quite a while, a bit longer to do a lot more work on it. So I'm just gonna stop right there. Vote for rock number 5.